We behold the Christ in you, and we love you just the way you are. And that's the truth. And now you're going to go with Bo and Delaney and Henry is back there too. Okay, you guys have a good time. Okay. So we have a few announcements. Dinner and a movie's coming up. I've seen this movie. It's really good. It's about Wayne Dyer's journey, his early life with his father. It's about forgiveness of the Father and forgiveness of ourselves. So that's this coming Friday night, June 28th. If you want to sign up and make plans to be there, Charlene is facilitating that. She needs to know how many beans to put in the pot. Okay, and then mark your calendars, Sunday, July 7th. Right after we do our potluck, we're going to show the film, What is New Thought? It's a recently produced documentary by a fellow out of Mobile, Alabama. And he interviewed a lot of folks that you will know. Many of them have been here as our speakers. And to give us a lovely history of where unity and New Thought have come from, and that unity is a part of a bigger movement called New Thought that started, thousands of years ago, but more currently about the 1850s. And mark your calendar again. Discover the Power Within You is a class that we've done here before. Susan Bowles did it several years ago. We're doing it here again. This is the book written by Eric Butterworth, who Oprah Winfrey has talked about from time to time, and Eckhart Tolle has talked about, and Maya Angelou. Many people see Eric Butterworth as one of the forerunners of moving this New Thought principles and philosophy into the world. So we will be starting that July 9th, and it will run for 8 Tuesdays. And if you want Unity credit towards becoming a licensed Unity teacher, you can take the class for that. And that's it for now.
Thank you, Reverend Margaret. And now I have the opportunity to say a few words about unity. While that paper falls on the floor. Unity, what a magnificent, beautiful name. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founders, studied all of the major religions. Tomorrow, I am leaving for the trip of a lifetime. I'm leaving for India, so that I can attend the Oneness University. I'm traveling with a group that is led by a retired Unity minister from California. There will be 55 Unity ministers or licensed teachers or significant others in the group. Why Oneness University? Oneness sounds kind of like unity, doesn't it? It is so glorious that people from every continent, probably except Antarctica, have attended Oneness University. I'm not positive, but I think they can accommodate 2,000 or 3,000 people at one time. I'm amazed that hundreds of people from China keep going back to Oneness University, where they are able to expand into greater and greater awakening and God realization. I am so excited that I am part of the first Unity group that is invited to come and participate in a very accelerated program. And if you would like to go with me, all you need to do is zap me with your energy, and I would love for our beautiful lights to go. The purpose of it is to bring greater and greater light to the unity movement, because what is unity? It is oneness. And now together, let us say Unity's statement of purpose. Together, I am the consciousness of Unity Christ Church, a unified board and congregation, nurturing spiritual growth, inspiring creativity, sharing time, talents, treasures, and expanding awareness of divine oneness. A very warm welcome to all of you, and I would particularly enjoy recognizing visitors If you are comfortable doing so, standing and telling us your name and where you're from, we would love to give you a visitor's packet. Is there anyone brave enough to do that? Yes, thank you.
My name is Leslie and I'm from Montgomery County, Maryland.
Welcome.
I'm Dawn Shepherd. I'm from Dutchtown, Pennsylvania.
Wonderful that you're here. Yes.
I'm Janice, and this is my daughter Kirsten from Wisconsin.
I'm Ashley, and this is my fiance Timmy, and we're from Colony.
Yes.
I'm Alexandra. I've been here since I was in
It's wonderful to see so many visitors, and I hope that all of you feel every time you walk through these doors that we have already prepared a place for you within our heart, and look forward to seeing you time and time and time again. Now I'm going to read from Unity's oldest publication, the Daily Word. The words today: inner peace. The affirmation: the presence of God permeates my being. Let's say that together. The
presence of God permeates my being.
The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. These lines from the prayer for protection remind me that I am always in the presence of God, a presence that brings peace. As I pray, I go within to a sanctuary of peace and quietly commune with the presence. My mind, body, and spirit are soothed. I let go of worry, fear, and doubt. Throughout the day, I easily return my awareness to the presence of God within, and I immediately become calm. From this place of peace, I reach out to others who are feeling anxious and allow God to express through me as peace, understanding, and empathy. I am always in the presence of God. I am always in the presence of peace. And from Exodus 33:14, he said, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Let's take a deep breath and say the affirmation together again. Together.
The presence of God permeates my being.
And so it is. And now, we're going to sing, I Send My Love. You may stand. Reverend Margaret says so.
turns to me.
Thank you very much. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce one of my very favorite friends and mentors, Reverend Margaret Miller. And her topic today, I think we've already had a preview, letting go of false solidity. Reverend Margaret.
So basically, ice melting ice water, that's basically it. And so now we can go to
Okay,
the
got it.
beach. Here we are, out of the hospital, home from trips, school's out, weather's getting hotter, roads are getting more crowded. Deep breath. Service industry's doing great. Yeah. Hotels are filling, right? Life is good, right? We have hats, we have t-shirts. Life is good. We're with our families who are going through their hard times, great times, wonderful times, joyful times, sad times. Pam and I just came home from Florida from a family funeral and then family reunion, and we've had so much laughter, we've had tears, lots of hugging, lots of seeing people we haven't seen, some of them since we were that size or they were that size. Lots of feelings moving around, right? When we do stuff like that. And if we're paying attention, there's lots of emotions and feelings moving through the world all the time, aren't there? And I used to think that only empaths or intuitives could feel all of that emotion and all of those ideas and thoughts. And I used to think that it was just the empaths who were feeling that. And you know, the truth is we're all feeling it. We're all affected by this unseen activity. We're all affected by the vibrations and the energy waves. And you know, we talk about X-rays and radiation waves and laser beams, and all of this is moving through the atmosphere. More powerful than all of that is what? Love. Our thoughts and feelings of love and well-being and peace are more powerful than any wave of radiation or X-ray or any other kind of wave. And yet it's the unseen thing that we cannot easily measure, although now places like HeartMath, they're measuring the vibration of the heart. They're measuring this activity that the great saints and sages have talked about for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, that you and I have within us this ability to send energy into the world, and it comes through us and from us, and it's all around us, and we can be a part of generating more energy of love and peace, or we can be a part of generating more energy of confusion and dismay. Is this true? Well, then if it is, shake your head or do something. So,
Amen.
I always have to wonder, am I making contact? So we're on the same page on this, right?
Yes.
So when I say, I might read something disturbing in the paper, it might be something about the environment or about yet another terrorist bomb or something, and I say something as outlandish as, they ought to do something about this. Where can I find they? Because I have some things to say to they. Who is they? They really ought to do something. So who is they? Okay. So an Untethered Soul. This is the book we're reading in book group now on Wednesdays, and it's the Sunday talk theme for this Sunday and next Sunday. So in chapter 10, if you have your Bibles, follow along. No, if you have this book, follow along. So on page 89, Michael Singer, and I just want to say this one more time because it's kind of funny, is that years ago he came over with a little group of his people to the healing center where I was in North Florida. And I thought this group of people, they were very nice and sweet and darling, but I thought they were quite peculiar. And they were those peculiar people. You know, they did yoga, and they were vegetarian, and they were living in a community on a big piece of land, and I thought, peculiar people. And now I'm teaching out of the book, and he's on Oprah. So.
And you're peculiar.
So on page 89, this is in the chapter, Stealing Freedom for Your Soul. He says, the prerequisite to true freedom is to decide that you do not want to suffer anymore. That's just the first sentence. So let's take a deep breath on that. Because apparently they aren't going to do it for us. Apparently we get to decide. The prerequisite to true freedom is to decide that you do not want to suffer anymore. You must decide that you want to enjoy your life and that there is no reason for stress, inner pain, or fear. Now we're going to take a deep breath on that because I know most of us are arguing with that sentence right now. But we're going to look at his perspective because there might be something to it. And if we don't want to receive this perspective, that's okay too. You must decide that you want to enjoy your life and that there is no reason for stress, inner pain, or fear. Every day we bear a burden that we should not be bearing. We fear that we are not good enough or that we will fail. We experience insecurity, anxiety, and self-consciousness. We fear that people will turn on us, our enemies will turn on us, take advantage of us, or stop loving us. All of these things burden us tremendously, and as we try to have our happy lives and happy relationships, we try to succeed and express ourselves, and there is an inner weight that we carry. And this weight is the fear of experiencing pain, anguish, or sorrow. We want to stop those painful feelings. Every day we are either feeling this or we are protecting ourselves from feeling it. It is such a core influence that we don't even realize most of the time that we're doing it. You know, that many of us live with, whether it's a low level or a high level anxiety. Not wanting to feel pain, not wanting to feel the insecurity or the uncertainty, or trying to keep things from happening that might cause us pain or insecurity. Does he have like something interesting to think about? So when Buddha said that all of life is suffering, this is what he was referring to. People do not understand how much they are suffering because they have never experienced what it is like to not suffer. Now this may not be true for you, but it's something to think about. There have been so many wars on our planet throughout the ages, and they seem to be escalating, that many of us who pray and vision for peace in the world, we've learned that we have to do the peace job in ourselves first so that we can see peace in the outer world. It's the same thing with suffering. You know, that if we make a decision that it's possible to live without suffering in our world, or live without suffering in our hearts and our minds, then perhaps that has something to do with the peace that we want to feel in our hearts and our minds and in the world. So there's a decision, and the decision is it possible to live life, let's just say without so much struggle and so much suffering. Let's don't even leap to without any struggle, without any suffering. Let's just gradually move along. Is it possible to live without so much struggle and without so much suffering?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a few guesses. So something for us to ponder now and in the coming days because it does seem true that you and I have a part in creating more suffering or creating more peace. It does seem that you and I are participating in that. It does seem that that's more true than they causing me all my suffering and pain. Something to think about. Okay, so then, this is a little bit of a review. If you were here last week, take a little nap. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, so this is the story about how we carry burdens way after we should have put that burden down by the riverside. Okay? So this is the story of the two monks. They've taken a vow of celibacy. They are never to touch women ever again in their lives. This is who they are. They're going to withhold themselves from any kind of physical activity on that. And they have taken that vow, and they come to the edge of the river. There's a woman who needs to get across. And one of the monks puts her on his back and carries her across the river. Well, Brother Monk is very upset about this. He can't wait to get back and tell the abbot. He touched no woman. So he puts the woman down on the other side of the river, and he keeps walking, and Brother Monk says, I cannot believe it. Now, you fill in the blank of who this person is for you. They kind of look like this. I cannot believe that you did that. I cannot believe that you did that thing that you said you would never do. I cannot believe that you broke the rule of this group, this organization, this religion, this culture. I cannot believe that you carried a woman across the river. And the monk who had carried her said, yes, I put her down on the other side of the river, but you, my friend, have been carrying her for the last 5 miles. Right? Now, don't we do that?
Yes.
Don't we just wrap our minds and our emotions and our feelings around some idea, some activity, some event, some circumstance, and we cannot lay it down? We especially think of these things when we go to family reunions. So last week we also talked about this idea of the samskara, and these neural pathways that we have in our brains, and man, we just keep looping around through these neural pathways. This is the Oregon Trail. Some of the wagon ruts are still visible hundreds of years later from the wagons that followed that course all across Oregon. That's the way it is in our thinking. We will have an idea, a story that we live by, and we move in that story for how many years? Some of us a lifetime. And it's especially interesting when we're moving in that loop, and it does make us loopy, we move in this loop of here's the story that I live by, and then it happens. You have a spiritual epiphany, or you live long enough to kind of put the dots together in a more truthful way. Or you hear stories from other family members who have a totally different memory about what happened, right? And your story begins to shake. And you begin to realize that that was the story I lived by, but I'm the only one living by it. Everybody else has another story. They have their story. So part of what this book is about, part of what all the great teachings are about, is that we seek the truth that sets us free from these stories that deplete and diminish who we are as magnificent beings of light. That's just it. That's the basic reason. So we also form orbits around these ideas. And it does seem to be true that we bring energy and thought force around a certain idea, and we form an orbit, and that's where we bring things into the manifest world. Right? So if I'm one of these folks, I know you know who they are. Well, it's never going to get better. We're never going to be able to pull out of this situation that we're in. It's only going to get worse. You know who those people are?
Yeah.
That's our moment to practice, taking a deep breath, remembering that we're the light of the world, and perhaps there's another way to view what's happening. So, in the Untethered Soul, he says there's no reason for stress, inner pain, or fear. What could he possibly be talking about? Every single one of us can give our list right now of why we have stress, pain, and fear. So take a deep breath. Where is he talking about when he makes this kind of remark? He's talking about the you-ness of you, the spiritual beingness of you that's behind every thought, every feeling, every story, every interpretation. The spiritual beingness of you. It's not your thoughts, it's not your feelings, it's not your stories. Can you feel that place? Who would you be without your story? Who would I be without my story? Who would we be without our fear? Our true selves. And when we're in our true selves, there is no reason for stress, pain, and fear because we see how all things work together for our awakening and the unfolding of good. This is basic spiritual teaching from thousands and thousands of years, and we're still making the decision to open ourselves up to knowing this. I really don't think we're slow learners. I think in the big scheme of things, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 years is not a whole lot of time in the big perspective. The alternative is to decide not to fight with life. You know that book we did here, The Eye of the Storm? 2 premises of the book. There's no one against you. Take a deep breath on that. There's no one against you. Not the Bank of America, not the Republicans, not the Democrats, not the Iraqis. There's no one against us. We're making up stories. They ought to do something. The alternative is to decide not to fight with life, and there is such a thing as life without fear. Who would I be without my fear?
God.
I would be the light of the world. Who would we be without fear? Just close your eyes a moment and think on that. Who would you be without fear? Now, it doesn't mean that we don't attend to the things we need to attend to. We pray and know that we can access next right and perfect action and response in every moment. So it doesn't mean we just sit back and don't respond to life, but to do it without fear. Now, on my 10-day silent retreat, Mr. Goenka, the teacher, said, just don't create any more misery. You know, and I'm thinking, okay. Okay. Just don't create any more misery. But it seems to be that we human beings like a good story. And if you've ever taken creative writing, you know, we like good stories, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, apparently we like good dramas. Apparently we like films that scare the bejeebies out of us. Apparently we like reality shows that we think we're watching reality, but the life we're living in isn't real enough. We love a good story, knowing that we are creatures of story. And this reminds me of my Aunt Lois, she had the kindest way of reminding me that I was lying. She would say, "Are you making up a story?" You know, that was a lovely thing, wasn't it? I wonder if the IRS does that. So we love stories. So my question to all of this is it possible to make up our stories in the most loving, whole, creative, vibrant, enlivening way, rather than life-depleting way? I'm just asking.
Yes.
Because we're all storytellers. We're constantly telling ourselves stories and interpreting the world and making it fit into our picture of the way things are supposed to be. Aren't we?
Yes.
So if you had no fear, this is what Michael Singer says. If we had no fear, and if you're following along, page 73, if you had no fear, you could be perfectly happy living in this world. Now, I just want you to, you don't have to say it out loud, but when's the last time you complained about something? When's the last time we complained about something? And if we're paying attention, we often don't sound like we are even willing to enjoy living in this world. We find things to focus on and complain about so much that we miss the wonder and the beauty and the magnificence because we're focused on what's not working. This is not a new message, but apparently I needed a review. If you had no fear, you could be perfectly happy living in this world. Nothing would bother you. Nothing would bother you. You'd be willing to face everything and everyone because you wouldn't have fear inside of you that could cause you disturbance. Krishnamurti, wonderful teacher, he told his students at one point, he said, I'm going to tell you the secret of my peace. I'm going to tell you, the truth as I know it. They got ready. And I think it was cassette players back then. They got the tape recorders ready and they're making notes and they're pursed and ready to receive the truth. And he said, I don't mind anything. What? Same as here. Nothing would bother you. I don't mind anything. Meaning, I can view the world, I can see what's happening around me, I can feel what's going on within me, and I don't make up a story about it. Now, somebody said to me recently, they said to me, I want to be in the healing ministry. That's what I want to do. And I said, so what are you doing right now that's helping to create healing in the world? And after a long conversation, we got to a place that she could feel comfortable about, that she was waiting for her own life to be 100% fully kicked into gear in her picture of success before she could do her healing work in the world. Now, how many of us know it doesn't work like that? How many of us know that healers and teachers are doing just as much of their work as everybody else? Right? Yeah. So one of the ways we can bring healing into the world, very simple. When we gaze upon one another, we look upon one another, are we looking upon one another's faults and warts and stuff, wacky stuff we've done? Or are we looking upon one another with love and peace and knowing that we as the Christ or the light of the world can look upon one another and see the Christ and the light of the world? Which one are we doing? Whether it's our children or grandchildren or siblings or loved ones, neighbors, partners, whoever we're gazing upon, world leaders, the president, Congress, bankers, corporations, whatever we gaze upon, are we gazing with eyes that deplete life, or are we gazing with eyes that lift life? I'm just asking. Because it seems to me, it seems to all of us, I know, that the way we see the world is the way we're created.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've got a problem with a politician, and I keep just looping around the story of that issue about that particular party or politician, and I keep looping around that, what am I helping to create more of? I'm helping to create more of what I don't want to see. So what's my alternative? I can decide to live my life without struggle and fear, and I can decide to see that person as the light of the world and to know that they have the capacity to make decisions for the well-being of all life. That's what I can know. And that's healing work. And that's what this woman decided. She decided she can do healing work from the armchair of her house.
Mm-hmm.
She never has to go out and do anything other than that. Now today at noon, which is going to be in just a few minutes, we're going to do our meditation, and we're going to be entering into a meditation time that people all over the world today are meditating for peace and for love to prevail. Is that a good thing?
Yes.
The global meditation event. And we don't need to do it one particular moment of one particular day, although it's powerful. It's full moon, it's solstice, it's people from all over the world are doing this. That's powerful, it's great. And because there's no time or space, anytime you and I enter into an attitude or a presence of love and peace, we're affecting the whole world, right?
Amen.
Okay, so we're almost done. Michael Singer brings to our attention that we have this thing that we do called, and I'm going to say the C word right out loud, clinging. So if we have clinging, what is it we're clinging to?
The known.
The what?
The known, what we know.
What we know, clinging to what we know.
What is?
Our stories. The outer world where we have an idea. You know, I have a storyline. This is who I am. This is what I do in the world. There was a time not so long ago, the late 80s, early 90s, when everything that defined me went away. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not a great feeling all the time. No, because I kept reaching for, okay, let's see, I had the healing center, nope, that's gone. Nope, marriage, nope, that's gone. Oh, ministry, nope, that's, nope. I kept reaching for, where is it that my identity is coming from? And it was a very scary place, and it was the most powerful place to enter into the true presence of who I am, without the identifying elements. You hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we have these stories, and when things start to happen that are outside of the story, we sometimes start clinging to the old story so much that we will not allow it, at least easily allow, change, healing, renewal, deepening. We'll be so angry and so resistant, we'll fight and struggle with the shift, and we forget that that shift is taking us to that place where we're able to express even more of our magnificence. Have you ever done this?
Mm-hmm.
Fought with the change, knowing on some level of your being that it's working in your behalf. So we cling. And remember the writing of the wisdom of the Hopi after 9/11, the wisdom of the elders from the Hopi Nation. To summarize, they said that there's a river flowing now so fast that there are those of us who will be very afraid. And we'll try to hold on to the shore. We'll try to grip the shore. But the Hopi told us to push off into the middle of the river. But we'll want to cling to the things that we knew as safe or secure, or something made a little bit of sense. We'll cling to that. But the Hopi say, push off into the middle of the river. Keep your head above water. Look around and see who's in there with you. And celebrate. And to do everything now in a sacred manner, because we are in this river of energy, of consciousness shifting that's moving so fast that there are those of us who will be very afraid. But we push off into that current of collective life energy. We keep our heads above water. We see who's in there with us. We celebrate. We do everything in a sacred manner. And the Hopi told us on 9/11 to release the word struggle from our attitude and our vocabulary. And now Michael Singer's saying it again. You know, we have our stories that keep us in struggle. New story is trying to emerge. New story is emerging. And where's the new story coming from? No. The new story is coming from us. Because you know the very famous words now at the end of that writing. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So sometimes I feel like I'm the clinger, holding on to the old story that I know, but something within me, call it soul, call it spirit, call it divine self, divine awareness, urges me to push off into the middle of this river of consciousness and see who's in there with me and celebrate. Susan invited us all to go to India. She is absolutely serious. Consciously, energetically, we are with her and with Joanna as they journey to India and have this experience that they will bring back to us, but we will feel it as they are there. And the same is true when you and I are struggling, we feel that. So is it a call to enter into the struggle, or is it a call to stand in prayer with one another and seeing one another's wholeness and one another's light, even in the midst of things that feel hard and painful? Do we see one another's wholeness, or do we agree with each other of how bad it is? I'll wait while you're all deciding. Okay, so we're going to do a meditation in a moment, and we're going to enter into this awareness that when we have our song, we're going to do a song, and then we're going to move into meditation. And during this time of the song and the meditation, please know that we are connecting with, we always were, but we're going to be a little more aware of it. We're connecting with millions of other people right now who at 12 noon are in meditation for peace and for love to prevail in the world no matter what. Like the little sign on my desk says, God bless the whole world, no exceptions. So when we are blessing our world, when we're deciding to be a presence of peace in the world, are we thinking that there are exceptions to our blessing of peace and love in the world? If there are exceptions, then you know another place where your prayer and meditation work is calling you. And me too. Okay, we're going to move into meditation. And I invite you to ask this question of yourself. Are you willing to live your life without so much fear and struggle?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
And the rains came, soft
Take a deep breath for yourself. A deep breath for all those that you're holding right now in your heart in prayer. Take a deep breath for our whole human family. Ken Carey in Third Millennium said, there is something huge looking through your eyes. There is something huge looking through your eyes. There is something powerful breathing through you. There is something creative moving through you. You are not your thoughts. You are aware of your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You feel your emotions. You are not your body. You look at it in the mirror and experience this world through its eyes and ears. You are the conscious being who is aware that you are aware of all the inner and outer things. You are the conscious being who is aware that you are aware. And from this place, we bless our world, we bless one another. From this place, we see the wholeness of our lives, the lives of all those that we gaze upon. We see the wholeness, the light, the peace, everyone that comes into our awareness. This is the place of wholeness from which we see one another's wholeness. And as we go into a time of silence, joining with millions of other beloveds, we dream and see peace and love in the world. Push off into the middle of the river. We push off into this consciousness of peace and love. We make the choice to no longer cling to any story that is less than a story of our beauty and magnificence and wisdom and power. We push off into the middle of this consciousness that reminds us that we are the light of the world. Push off into this consciousness and we see who is in there with us and we celebrate. And for our lives and the lives of all humankind and for all life, this place of awareness, we know that all is working together in our behalf to wake up and to know ourselves as the light of the world. We say, so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend Margaret, for so very clearly reminding us that we can always choose to be light and love and joy in the world. And thank you especially for consistently seeing each one of us as living that truth. Thank you. And now I invite the ushers to come forward, and you and I have the opportunity to give of our abundance. And we are going to do a hand movement. And as we begin, I wish you to get the feeling in your beingness that we are indeed the light of the world. And let us speak from this place together. I am light, flowing through me,
blessing these gifts to radiate peace.
We'd like to do something for you. So share what you need.
It took a bypass. I thought it was through. And let us bless these wonderful, beautiful, generous gifts. Together,
I am light, flowing through me, blessing these gifts to radiate peace.
Thank you.
Okay, we have four announcements. Say yay! So Wednesday nights now, many of you know we're doing our contemplative service, 5:30 to 6:30, and then we continue on into the chapel for a oneness blessing. And so then, after service, also today there will be the oneness blessing. And the bookstore for the Miracle-Minded has the scarves on sale, 50% off. I bought one last week, thank you. And they're summer scarves, which makes it even greater. Next week, continued with the Untethered Soul series, Secret of the Middle Way. And now we are going to make our circle and do prayer for protection. Are there any other announcements while we're making our way up here? When you look around the circle, you can look and gaze upon all of these beautiful beloveds and see them as the light of the world, as the presence of love and peace in the world. And if you see someone that you don't know, you haven't seen them before, you haven't seen them in a long time, extend a hand for a handshake, or if a hug feels okay for them and you, please give a hug. And because the hallmark of this church, everywhere I go, people who come here from other unities say, the word is out, people really feel welcome here. So whatever you're doing, just keep it up. So that's for all of us to know that the energy of welcoming, we feel it here in this place, but we also, as we talk with one another, as we greet one another, that we welcome the presence of love and peace from each other. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. I'm going to ask Susan to come stand in the middle of the circle. And we're going to bless her with this prayer for protection. It's also for all of us, all we're holding in our hearts. But as she goes to India this week with Joanna, we're including Joanna also.
Who's already in there?
Joanna left today and Susan leaves tomorrow. So Susan, and for all of us, we love you.
We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold Christ in you. And we love you just the way you are.
Now we'll do the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, we did it. Woo. And now we close with Let There Be Peace. This is being sung by Unity churches all over the world right now. So let's sing it like a prayer and sing it like it's true. Let there be peace.